live stream. My name is Brandon. I am the owner of Magic Land Vacations, the Disney and Universal travel planning experts. I'm so glad you're joining me today for this live video. We're going to talk all about Disney cruises. And you know, we love helping families plan their Disney Cruise Line vacations. We love helping people save time, save stress, save hassle, and create extra magic on their Disney and Universal destination vacations. And today it's all about Disney cruising. And hi, Audrey. I'm so glad that you are watching today. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to talk about what is actually happening in the state of Disney cruising. When will Disney cruising return? So much more amazing things to discuss with you all today. So without further ado, actually I have a first question. My first question I want to ask is, have you guys been on a Disney cruise line before? If you guys are tuning in, comment below and tell me if you have or haven't been on a Disney cruise, and tell me what was your experience on the Disney cruise. I am obsessed with Disney cruises. I've been on every single Disney cruise ship. Love them all. And I'm a huge fan of Disney characters. So obviously for me, I absolutely love meeting the characters because every night the characters are in different outfits that match the theme of the day for the cruise or the destination of the itinerary. So I love Disney cruises. But yeah, comment below. Tell me if you have or haven't been on a Disney cruise before. And if you did, what it was like. Audrey was in there in 2000. It was fun. I love it. I'm glad that you were there, Audrey, in 2000. Fantastic. So what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we are going to talk about so many amazing things about Disney cruises. So this is everything I know for 2021 updated news with Disney Cruise Line. And this is what I'm going to talk about today. Number one, when will Disney Cruises set sail? Again, that is like the million-dollar question everybody wants to know the answer to. So I'm going to get right down to that. I'm going to talk about what Disney Cruises might look like when they return. And we're going to talk about the CDC and WHO safety precautions, changes in the entertainment offerings, what it looks like to book right now. And woo, we are going to talk about the Disney Wish, the first ship of the Triton class of Disney Cruise Line ships. So excited about all of those things. So when will Disney Cruises set sail again? That is the million-dollar question that we all want to know the answer to. And I wish I had a crystal ball, but I have lots of news to talk about why we don't have an exact date yet. First of all, the official announcement, which was actually made 2 days ago, was that all cruises are canceled through the end of March of 2021. So we know that Disney is hoping to resume cruising in April. But is that for sure going to happen? Don't know. Because here's why. And this is what people need to understand about cruising and the cruising industry in general. First of all, the CDC has said that cruises cannot be longer than 7 nights. So when cruising does return, there will not be any cruises that are operating for longer than 7 nights. And there's way more at play than just Disney, namely the CDC. So the CDC is the Center for Disease Control, and they originally had a no sail order through February of 2021. Now, that expired in October. And when it expired in October of 2020, the CDC announced that they were going to have a conditional framework for when cruising could actually return. Now, this conditional framework, basically what it stipulated is that all the cruise lines, not just Disney, Royal Caribbean, Norwegian, Carnival, Princess, all the cruise lines had to show the CDC that they had new safety precautions, protocols, measures in place to prevent the spread of COVID-19 aboard their ships. Now, if you've never been on a cruise at all before, cruises are actually the most clean and safest places to travel because the cruise line industry already knows that everyone is in close quarters. Now, Disney, like anything else, sets a very, very, very high bar when it comes to cleanliness standards. I mean, when they're on their ports, they're repainting their ships like every day. Disney has extremely high standards. So, but they have to meet those conditional frameworks, which means that they have to prove to the CDC that it's safe for people to get back on a Disney cruise ship and that there won't be a spread of the COVID-19. But that's not the only thing that the cruise lines have to do. They also have to figure out with the port of call nations what their safety guidelines and measures are going to be as well. And in fact, the Grand Cayman Premier, Alden McLaughlin, said just yesterday that he didn't expect cruising to return to the Grand Cayman Islands until after COVID-19 was basically contained. And so he wasn't even sure that it would resume in 2021 at Grand Cayman. Now, is it possible it could resume in the fall or even in the summer? Of course it is. This is such a fluid situation, ever evolving, ever changing. But I will say that that's something that people don't think about, is that even when Disney cruises do return, they also have to make sure that it's okay for them to actually go to the ports of call, right, of the nations, and they have to abide by their COVID-19 requirements as well. And that is even happening in the United States. Key West actually voted in November on a large cruise ship restriction to Key West, which would have prevented Disney's cruises from docking at Key West. And I love Key West. I actually went to Key West on a Disney cruise, had an amazing time, did a bike ride, tried the key lime pie, absolutely delicious. And now the state of Florida, a senator and the state legislator of Florida has introduced a bill to actually overturn the votes in Key West so that large cruise ships can go back to Key West. So there's just a lot that's happening about when Disney cruises will return. And for your reference, we don't book just Disney cruises. We also book Royal Caribbean cruises as well. So cruises is an important part of what we do to help families create amazing, magical memories. So this is definitely a fluid situation. Now, what will Disney cruises look like when they actually return? This is really, really important, especially because we have a lot of clients that have already booked their vacations. They're excited about Disney cruises returning. They're hopeful and anticipatory of what that's actually going to look like. And so, first of all, there's going to be a lot of new safety precautions that will be in place, something that we know the cruise lines are doing. First of all, CLIA, which is the Cruise Line International Association, they have been working with all cruise lines on new standard operating procedures. They actually created an entire task force of medical experts, former people that were in charge of the CDC and the World Health Organization. They've been meeting with the CDC and the World Health Organization that have basically all been agreeing to the new standards that the cruise line industry is going to use when cruising actually returns. A lot of people don't realize this either, that there's actually been over 200 successful sailings as some cruising has already resumed in different parts of the globe. So a lot of people are not familiar with that, but cruising has actually already started to resume in some parts of the globe. Obviously, some of the new safety precautions are going to be new mask requirements, social distancing, additional cleaning procedures, talking about like high grade UV medical lights, cleaning type procedures, enhanced medical capabilities, which all the cruise ships usually have their own medical staff on board. So they're just enhancing those medical capabilities as well. And then new air ventilation and management strategies as well. So there's a lot of new precautions that have been in place. Something else that people don't realize is that the entire Disney cruise fleet actually has been retrofitted. So they actually took all the ships in and have been working on specific new safeguards and everything else. Just think about like when you go to the parks now and you have all the plastic barriers and the line queues and on the rides, and you have all the markers of social distancing and all that kind of stuff. Disney Cruise has had plenty of time to do this. Royal Caribbean has plenty of time to do this, and they have been doing this. So they've been working very hard on all these things. And of course, negative COVID-19 testing for crew members is what was already happening. And now with the CDC announcing that passengers coming into the United States, starting I think it's January 26th, have to have a negative COVID-19 test to re-enter, it's more than likely going to be the same thing for cruising as well. Now, here is what I'm waiting to hear from Disney Cruise Line and from the cruise industry is a lot of the all-inclusive resorts right now, especially like Sandals resorts and other resorts, as this came out by the CDC, those resorts have already said that their guests will get COVID tests complimentary from them, 2 per room, I believe it is for most of them, prior to going back into the United States. And the likelihood of someone having a negative COVID-19 test and then 7 days later testing positive for COVID-19 is extremely, extremely, extremely low. So basically what would happen is you would get a negative COVID-19 test before you get on your Disney cruise. And then depending upon the CD regulations, and if it's Disney Cruise that does the testing, who knows, a negative COVID-19 testing when you come back. But I anticipate there being something similar. If that's already been announced for the airlines, I don't see it being any different for the cruise industry when it resumes as well. And that's just happened as of yesterday. Entertainment offerings will be modified. I don't think anybody doesn't expect this with all the modified entertainment offerings at Disney World right now, and Disneyland Paris and Shanghai Disneyland and everything else. This is information gathered based on guest surveys. So Disney Cruise Line did a really interesting thing where they started emailing people that had already booked their Disney cruises, asking them about what would make them feel safe to set sail again and how they would feel about different modifications to the Disney offerings that are available on a Disney cruise. And some of the things that were talked about was modified character interactions at a distance. And if you've been to Disney World right now, there are a number of character interactions you can have at a distance with characters. The easiest one, of course, being character dining meals. You can always see almost always see the stepsisters over in the balcony on the back of Cinderella's castle, or you can see them outside of Princess Royal Fairy Tale Hall. And then over in the UK Pavilion in Epcot, you can see Mary Poppins and Alice. So I expect there will be some face interaction with face characters, as well as the Mickey and Minnie and Pluto all at a distance. So that's a good thing. This is a big change that I anticipate for Disney cruising. Assigned seating and tickets for the Buena Vista and Walt Disney theaters. So if you've never been on a Disney Cruise Line, the Buena Vista Theater runs first-run movies, and of course Disney owns Pixar, Marvel, Fox, Disney Animation. So they have an incredible collection, and they show first-run movies. When I went on a Disney cruise, I saw the new Star Wars movie opening night on my Disney cruise. So the Walt Disney Theater, that's where they have all the amazing Broadway shows like Frozen, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, all of those. And so the biggest change is that you're more than likely going to have to actually select where you're going to sit and have tickets for both the movie theater and the Walt Disney Theater as well. I would also expect there to be modification of port adventures. This is going to be really interesting because that's, again, tied to the governments and who owns the different port of calls, and also the tour companies that actually run the port adventures, which are actually third parties that Disney has vetted. And so I'm sure there's going to be some kind of vetting process to make sure that they're adhering to COVID-19 safety protocols and regulations based on that country, where that port adventure is, that port is, as well as what Disney dignifies as good, stringent standards that they have. And of course, there'll be a modification of the buffet style restaurants as well on the Disney cruises. More than likely, they'll either be converted to table service restaurants, perhaps family style gatherings. That's what they did at Chef Mickey's, right? It's family style now as opposed to a buffet. And there's been some talk, although I think it's more likely to be family style, but there has been some, or table service, but there has been some talk about the buffet style being where cast members actually serve you. But I think it's more likely that it's going to be buffet style or table service where you order. And this one is probably the one that makes people the saddest, which is temporary suspension of fireworks and deck parties. However, what I will say is that I went on an Alaskan cruise and there was no fireworks and I didn't miss it. I mean, I love fireworks at sea. Don't get me wrong. It is really amazing and it's spectacular. But an Alaska cruises, because of environmental regulations, Disney Cruise Line can't shoot off fireworks anyway. So I really didn't miss the fireworks all that much. And knowing Disney, they do such an amazing job of kind of reinventing their entertainment offerings that they've been doing. And so has Universal too, with everything that's been happening. I'm really confident in Disney's capability to deliver a new kind of entertainment experience to supplement the no fireworks or deck parties, if that is what happens, because we'll just have to wait and see. So I do want to talk about booking a Disney cruise with confidence. This is something a lot of people don't realize is happening right now. But right now, Disney made alterations to their policies. So final payment for sailings through July of 2021, you're actually able to make 60 days instead of 120 days. There's a new cancellation fee schedule. So the cancellation fees have been relaxed through July of 2021. They also have the cruise date flexibility. So any sailings booked by January 31st, 2021, so by the end of this month, you can change your sail date up to 15 days prior to departure. And they also have a really great flexible refund policy. So within 14 days of sailing, if you or a family member has symptoms or exposure to COVID-19, you can get a full refund on your Disney cruise, apply it to a future sail date, no cancellation fees. And Disney Cruise Line actually released their 2022 bookings a little bit early, so you can actually book through the May of 2022. So a lot of things to realize there. Before I start talking about the Disney Wish, one thing I do want to say about booking right now is that there is reduced capacity. So when Disney cruises do set sail again, they're not going to be at full capacity. So a lot of people don't realize this, but all the cruises that were canceled where people have paid in full, Disney actually gave them 125% of credit of their fare. And all those people have to rebook their cruises before the end of 2022. So with reduced capacity and all those canceled sailings and people who have paid needing to set sail in 2022, if you're thinking about a Disney cruise in late 2021, summer 2021, 2022, highly recommend you go ahead and book that right now, because there's no guarantee you're going to get the stateroom category or the sail date that you want. And Disney is being really flexible right now. So let's talk about the Disney Wish, the newest ship of the Disney fleet. So this is an artist rendering of the Wish. And you can see that this actually looks quite different than the other Disney ships. And that's because this is a brand new class of ships. This is called the Triton class. And on the back, we have Rapunzel. It's going to be the back on the Disney Wish. If you're not familiar with Disney cruises, every Disney cruise ship has a character on the back painting the name of the ship. And in this case, it's going to be Rapunzel. So what do we know about the Disney Wish? We know it was originally supposed to set sail in early 2022. Now it is setting sail in the summer of 2022. And the anticipation is that when Disney releases the rest of their 2022 dates, you will be able to book the Disney Wish. It's part of the Triton class. All three of the Triton class ships are going to be powered by liquefied natural gas. And they're going to be 144,000 gross tons, 1,250 guest staterooms, and they're going to be slightly larger than both the Disney Dream and the Disney Fantasy. And we talked about Rapunzel, and Cinderella is going to adorn the grand staircase. And I want to go ahead and show this really, really great clip of the reveal of Cinderella for the grand staircase. So let me go ahead and do this. This is really amazing. So excited about this. So this is the reveal that was made back in December about Cinderella.
Together and what have we got? Bippity boppity boo. boppity, bippity boppity, bippity boppity, bippity boppity, bippity boppity, boo!
I don't know about you all, but that just makes me really, really happy just to see that. Yes, that just makes me so happy to see that. So thank you guys so much for joining me as I talk about Disney cruises, when we anticipate Disney cruises might return. Would love for me and all of our genies would absolutely love to help your family plan your next Disney cruise or Royal Caribbean Cruise Line vacation. Hit the complimentary consultation link, and we would love to grant your vacation wishes. Have an amazing Thursday, and I will see you later.